honors individuals who have created a tradition of excellence for all industry members. Inductees range from individuals whose contributions led to sweeping changes to members who made an impact through leadership and vision. To help us induct our next nominee, I'd like to welcome to the stage Mr. Roy Brewer.
Overdue, long overdue. But the good news for those of you here tonight is that you get to witness one of the very few prodigies in our industry. He applied for a job very close to his 21st birthday, got the job. They assigned him to metal polishing, a local manufacturer in New Jersey, owned by Awards and Recognition Association Hall of Famer Ray Dodge. That company was Dodge Trophies. By the end of the year, tonight's inductee was a foreman in that business. Short while after that, an upstart competitor, Lawrence Manufacturing, hired him away from Mr. Dodge. But before long, Uncle Sam called, and after serving his country in the United States Army, but by the time he got his release from the Army, honorary discharge, that's what I was trying to think of, after getting his discharge from the Army, he went back to work for Mr. Dodge because Mr. Dodge had bought Mr. Lawrence out. He was threatened a little. But tonight's inductee, a very special person. Tonight's inductee, family members are really quick to tell us that as he approached his 79th birthday, he came to work every day. As a matter of fact, he normally unlocked the doors and turned on the lights. Tonight's inductee, a very special person. Several in this room have been trying to get him into ARA's Hall of Fame for many years now. But every time he'd find out about it, he'd say, He'd say, no. We get our recognition from success in the marketplace. Very special person. We've heard several people talk about passion for their work tonight. Folks, that really just doesn't get it for this fellow. He was much more than passionate. And us old guys aren't afraid to use the word love. This man loved this industry. This man lived for this industry. He loved what he does. Very often he would take family members to trade shows, not our trade shows, but any kind of trade shows. Just walk up and down the aisle looking for things that he could bring into our industry. I don't know if this gentleman ever read Megatrends, but I can't think about buzzword in the 80s was watching the trends. I don't know if he ever read Megatrends that led that conversation about trends in that period of time, but I think he could have written the book. This individual worked for Mr. Dodge for several years, worked for Mr. Lawrence, that's ARA Hall of Famer Roger Lawrence. After he got back from the Army, went back to work for Mr. Dodge. And shortly thereafter, by the way, he worked for ARA Hall of Famer Guy Scobert as his supervisor. But shortly Mr. Dodge, a very special person in our industry, often acknowledged to be the father of our industry, Mr. Dodge called him aside, and I have a special assignment for you. I've got a brand new division and I want you to go in and figure out for me. And in that position, tonight's inductee is generally credited for developing what we called back then the unbreakable trophy figure. today called a die-cast figure, which helped Mr. Dodge be dominant in our industry for another 20 years. But in 1959, he decided to leave the success and the security he had with Dodge trophies, open up his own business, selling trophy parts out of his garage. From that meager beginning, he built one of the most respected family businesses in our industry. When I say family business, I don't mean a mom and pop business, because they have over 100 employees. And I don't say a family business because sons, daughters, son-in-law, grandchildren are actively involved in the management of the decision of the business, but they are. I call it a family business because that's what he called it. None of us ever heard him call the people who worked for him employees. They were his extended family. And his family is quick to tell us that he loved this industry. He was a trendsetter. He had a knack for seeing, maybe forcing, or maybe creating trends. His enterprise was the first to use extrusion, to take our industry away from bent metal columns and toward extrusion. His business, I'll remind you that our association had its first seminar on contact management in 1988, but by that time, this fellow already had a nationwide network of customer relationship specialists in place. This fellow was the first one to copyright and patent design elements. He was the first one to successfully brand his product line. He was quite a trendsetter. I'll take you back a little bit in history. For you young people, before 1980, award specialists loved the figure-based sports and participation awards because most of them had typewriter engravers. When they screwed up a plate, they would create another plate and not think a thing about it. But back then, they really disliked, maybe even hated plaques because they used pantographs. And you recall, if the stylus skipped out of the type holder of a 44-line plaque, it did not skip out on the first line, but instead it skipped out on what line? Oh, some of you out there remember that. But indeed, and retailers at that day continued to raise and raise and raise the price, trying to talk people out of buying plaques. But then, 1980, another ARA Hall of Famer gave us a brand new tool that changed the industry. ARA Hall of Famer Ray Dahlgren invented a piece of equipment that made award specialists fall in love with plaques. And they found out that they really didn't have to lower their price. They were already charging way too much. And people would pay for it. But tonight's inductee followed some of the other trends. That was the same year that Brunswick and AMF were establishing bowling alleys all over the country. He saw the trends coming. That's why he left Mr. Dodge. And that's why in 1980 he followed that trend. In 1980, he started moving his line of goods toward corporate awards. If Mr. Ray Dodge is generally acknowledged as the father of our industry, tonight's inductee is considered the father of the corporate awards. Tonight, we're going to induct Mr. Trophy Parts into our Hall of Fame. We're going to induct Mr. Air Flight into our Hall of Fame. We're going to induct number 1 into our Hall of Fame. Your president, B.J. Bailey, and your board of directors would like to ask a representative from this company, when I give his name in a moment, to come forward and receive this induction award. And that name is Peter V. Ilaria.
Very proud and honored to have first of Roy's stature induct my father into the Hall of Fame. Thanks also to the nominating committee and the board of directors for bestowing this honor. My father did love this industry and worked every day of his life to advance our business and to assist our customers in meeting the needs of their customers. So, between the induction into the Hall of Fame and the ARA scholarship fund we've established, we know his name will be carried on for many years to come. That gives us all a deep sense of gratitude. So, thank you very much.